Putang ina. Patay ka na, diba? Rody sits upright, startled, in the dead of night. But the figure doesn't speak. His stare is heavy with grief, as if demanding something that can't be returned. The gunshot wound at the back of his head echoes louder than words. The ghost of a drug war victim he never knew now stands where sleep never offered refuge in his prison at The Hague, the Netherlands. At 12 a.m., Rody wakes up seeing a boy, no older than 17, phase through the concrete wall, sprinting from one side of the room to the other. He is Kian de los Santos, a teenager mistaken for a criminal, executed like an animal. Even the dead now run from their fate. He comes back to the room, falling to the floor screaming, "Huwag po, may exam pa po ako bukas." He pleads. 3 a.m., the dim light above flickers. At his bedside, 3 children appear, too young to understand why their parents never came home. Their tiny hands clutch one another as they weep silently. Watching him, they were called collateral damage. But their cries pierce deeper than bullets. Rody closes his eyes, but their sobs cling to him like the smell of gunpowder. Betrayal echoes louder in death. The war he started left no survivors, only secrets buried in shallow graves. At 7 in the morning, Rody sips bitter coffee on a small breakfast table. Across the table stand familiar faces, ghosts in police uniform, and men from old syndicates. "We followed your orders, sir," they say. "You silenced us when we knew too much." Outside his cell, the prison staff murmur. They hear him yelling inside his room, arguing with voices only he hears. "Yes, I killed all of you for love of country," he insists, fists clenched in trembling fury. But the ghosts never ask for justification, only acknowledgment. Inside those walls, patriotism is no shield from consequence. At 2 p.m., he jolts awake from his afternoon nap. Distant gunfire, sharp, echoing rings near his window. He rushes to look. Outside, it's quiet, not even wind. In sleep, the dead rehearse their death. In waking life, he replays them. In this haunting, the only constant thing aside from breathing is his nightmare fueled by guilt. At sunset, the ceiling starts to shift like a soft earthquake from above. A corpse drops from the ceiling, and then another follows, slow, soft thuds. One after another, they fall into his bed, onto his chest, piling up until he cannot move. Their weight suffocates him. They do not scream. They do not accuse. but they crush him with the weight of truth. Bodies don't stay buried forever. He wakes up to the dream. The guard comes to let him know that his family is here to see him. Sarah is waiting at the visitors area, but he does not want to step out of bed. A flood of blood has started filling up his room and is now ankle deep. Crimson guilt seeped from the walls, from the drains, from under the door. This is not symbolic. It's memory rendered physical. Every lie, every denial, dissolved into crimson consequence. Suddenly, the flood disappears. He goes out to meet his daughter. "I'm all right," he says to Sarah. But behind her, the faces stare from corners. Unseen by her, unforgettable to him, Rody knows better to tell the truth, but can't let her know about the haunting. He must appear strong, in spite the horde of ghosts constantly coming at him. The next day, a prison staff reads him trial instructions. Rody's eyes glaze over, but does not hear him. Echoes are building up in his ears, crying mothers, keening voices from all corners of the cell. Hindi siya nanlaban. Hindi siya pusher. Hindi siya adik. Bakit niyo siya pinatay? The wailing continues and never stops. The screams of mothers turn into a chorus of grief. Their pain becomes a soundtrack that drowns reason. Outside his window, Antonio Trillanes walks calmly through the courtyard. Rody backs away. "He's a ghost," he whispers, but the ghost smiles. "I'm here to make sure that you stand trial." He mutters with a sly smile, "You will pay for all you've done." Day and night blur. Ghosts crawl on the ceiling. The room oozes blood from vents. Children cry. Men scream. The walls bleed. He scratches at his ears, but the sounds live within him. Their suffering never ended. They carry them all inside his head. A Dutch psychiatrist sits across from him. Rody's eyes are sunken. His fingers twitch. "They're here with me," he whispers. The doctor nods, writes hallucinations in her notes. But a ghost wrapped in tape with a sign on his chest saying, "Adik huwag tularan," smiles at him. Even now, they wait. Guards escort him to the courtroom. As he walks, hands burst from the ground, grabbing at his ankles. A horde of ghosts run to him shouting, "You belong with us!" They scream, "You built our graves, now lie in them. Dito ka na sa impyerno." Every step forward is a descent. The courtroom looms ahead, but justice no longer lives in that room. He knows well this haunting is a life sentence. Finally, The trial begins at the Hague, but for Rody, the sentence has already started. It echoes endlessly in blood, in screams, in memory, and in the Hague. Rody is not alone. Not anymore. Never.